Welcome to Gateshead in the north of England. It lies on the southern bank of the River Tyne opposite Newcastle upon Tyne. Gateshead town centre and Newcastle city centre joined by 7 bridges, including the landmark, the Gateshead Millennium Bridge. The latter being part of the Gateshead Quays development, much admired in this part of the country and throughout the land. Welcome to the Gateshead International Stadium and to the Samsung Diamond League, the Premier League for athletics throughout the world. It's here that Asafa Powell set a world 100-metre record of 9.77 in 2006. And by the way, he's here again, and so is Tyson Gay. Incidentally, they've already run the heats. Gay ran 9.96 and Asafa Powell 10.11. But the wind is fluctuating. It really is up to 2 meters per second against, which is a great shame here. It's humid though, the temperature's in the mid-20s, and as I said, those wind speeds up to minus 2 meters per second. There it is, 21 degrees, 68%. It is cloudy, clearly. Conditions not bad. If only the wind would just settle down a little bit, that would be absolutely superb. Well, earlier on this evening we had a discus competition, and this is Petr Malachowski of Poland, Olympic silver medalist in Beijing and world silver medalist, of course, and won in Eugene in the Diamond League. And he'd already leading the competition with just over 66 meters, and that is close to 70. A marvelous performance and a very good series in the making here. So that's 2 throws, well, the first one over 66 and this one well over 66, close to 70, and that is going to be a British all-comers record, which it turned out to be in the end. (69.83). Look at that. New national record, British all-comers record for Malachowski. Just looking at Malinovsky, Casey Malone was next up in the 3rd round, incidentally. Malone had thrown 64.28, 64.25 in the first 2 rounds, and was up there, but needed something a little bit more than that to contend. And Malone's throw at 65 meters and 60 put him into 2nd place. Former world junior champions, twice American champion incidentally. He won the title last year and this year as well. He hit that well, and that was 65 meters and 60 centimeters. He'd had 3 throws then over 64 meters, and that one over 65, which took him into 2nd place. But it all happened in the 4th round. Well, not all, but certainly Zoltán Kvágo in the 4th round. The Hungarian had 57.48, 58.35, 62.81, and then this game. Very fast, and you could tell from his attitude he'd hit a good one, and that was around about 67 meters. In fact, it was 67 meters and 2, and that took him past Malone into 2nd place. But Malachowski, the Pole, a meeting record, a national record, but that was a good throw to take him into 2nd place, and he really was nowhere in it until that throw. Yes, he said. Good competition. There it is. There's the evidence. 67.02. We're bringing you up to date with the full result of that discus. Let's just check on that result. There it is. Malachowski is 69.83, a national record. Varga, you've seen that, 67.02. Malone, Israel, Maya, Derrick, Morse and Caddy. Good competition actually with that UK all-comers record. Big thrower and a big result. Well, Tim Hutchins sitting alongside me. It's a pretty good crowd here, isn't it?
It's not a bad crowd, Stuart. Yes, Gateshead in recent years has been losing a bit of the crowd enthusiasm of the 70s and 80s that was so famous, but nonetheless a good crowd here today in the stadium. That was a great way to start the afternoon's field event action, wasn't it? That discus with an all-comers record. Really strong throwing. And this is Natalia Miknevic. He won the Olympic silver in Beijing 2 years ago. The 28-year-old Belarus athlete, as she is now. Mikhailovich opening with 18 meters 77. Her season's best 19 meters 80, so a little way down on her best. Indeed, she's a 20-meter plus thrower at her best, but that's a solid enough opener for Mikhailovich. Only 4 rounds each for these throws, remember, as in the discus. Valerie Billy. Well, Valerie Billy in the first round, of course, the reigning world and Olympic champion, was always going to produce something special, and she did. She produced here in Gateshead over 20 metres with her opening effort. That one coming down at 20 metres and 6 centimetres for the big New Zealander. And she is powerful too, the 25-year-old. 1 metre 90, 110 kilograms, and comes from a massive family as well, does Vili. And that the best of the first round up to that point.
She's very tall, uses the linear technique. Many of the throwers using the rotation, but Ostapchuk of Belarus, the world champion back in 2005 in Helsinki, won the world indoor title recently. Very powerful, got a best this season of 20 meters and 95. Or really hit that very, very high indeed, and that looks good too. And that's going to chase the 20 meters and 6 of Valerie Billy. So we've got 20-meter throwers here, and I guess it's going pretty well with the script at the moment. Very powerful, shifts across the circle, gets that right leg underneath, turns the toe in, gets good elevation, and keeps the elbow high, flicks it off the fingertips, and gets 20 meters and 23, and goes into the lead.
Of course, it's Ostapchuk that has turned the tables on Vili, with the previous dominant Stuart being turned in Doha at the World Indoor Championships, where the Belarus athlete we saw just then did take the World Indoor title over Vili, a rare defeat for the New Zealander. It's actually a very warm day. It's a lovely afternoon in Gateshead, despite those clouds. It's about 24, 25 degrees. There's the lineup for the first Diamond League track event of the day, the women's 400 metres. And this one is minus Lee McConnell, who's just pulled out, the UK champion, with a sore throat. Or Christina Hurugu, the reigning Olympic champion. But it nonetheless is a very strong field, with Debbie Dunn in lane 4, the fastest in the world this year. In fact, the American, the only woman under 50 seconds this year in the world. There's Shana Cox of the USA. There's been a little bit of shifting around of lanes with McConnell pulling out, but Shana Cox has run 51.4 this year. 5th in the US Championships a couple of weeks ago. Nicola Sanders, well, of course, she was the World Championship silver medalist 3 years ago. 28 years old now, and trying to get back from injury, gradually returning to form. Only 52.7 this year. Lane 3 is Amantle Doncho, Debbie Dunn rather. And just looking there, we seem to have skipped over one show. Debbie Dunn goes in 4, that is lane 5. Sherika Williams of Jamaica, the Olympic silver medalist in 2008, and took the silver again last year in Berlin. Also in good form. Noveline Williams-Mills goes in lane 6, the Jamaican, the bronze medalist at those World Championships in Osaka 3 years ago, the 3rd fastest in the world this year, 3rd in Lausanne 2 nights ago in 50.04. Natasha Hastings goes in lane 7 for the USA, the former world youth champion. 50.83 in Lausanne the other night, in a very tightly contested race. She was 6th there. And then Denisa Rozalova, former world junior long jump champion, can you believe, 6 years ago. Winner in Ostrava back in May in 50.8. She started the season tremendously well. That remains her personal best. Well, as you can see, lane 4 is in lane 3 rather, is indeed empty. Now that's a shame, because Monchot is in 2nd place in the Diamond League standings behind Alison Felix, and she could have taken outright lead here if she'd got up in the first 3. So that lineup again: Shana Cox in 1 for the USA, Nicola Sanders in 2, Debbie Dunn there we just saw, there she is, the world number 1 this year, and recent winner of the US Championship. She goes in 4. Sherika Williams goes in lane 5. Noveline Williams-Mills of Jamaica in 6. The USA's Natasha Hastings in 7. Vital cog in their relay machine is Hastings, and Rosalova goes in lane 8 for the Czech Republic. There's Nicola Sanders. It would be great to see her have a return to form here today. up until that very late withdrawal, and I can only imagine she's pulled something in warm-up. We had the top 4 in the world in this race.
Ostapchuk in the shot. We'll come back to that in a moment.
Well, Nicholas Sanders then in lane 2. Won the European indoor title back in 2007 prior to that outdoor World Championship silver medalist, and she says really she's running times at the moment she should be able to do in her sleep. She's way out of sorts. Let's hope she can find something like her better form in this race here today in Gateshead. Once again, that lineup from the inside. Shanna Cox of the USA in 1, Sanders in 2, lane 3 now empty. Debbie Dunn, the world number 1 for the USA, goes in lane 4. Sherika Williams, Jamaica, 5. Williams Mills, also Jamaica, in 6. Then Hastings of the USA in 7. Rosalova of the Czech Republic in lane 8. Well, 5 athletes in this field have broken 50 minutes. There's been a gusting wind across this Gateshead arena over the last hour or so. Let's see if it affects them here down the back straight. Certainly gone up pretty quickly here. Is Hastings second to left. She's already up on Rosalova. The rest of them moving well. Also going well on the inside is Shanna Cox. She's up on Nicholas Sanders, who already looks to be lagging behind the majority of this field. Nobody really showing down those outside lanes. Although moving well now is Williams Mills in lane 6. Up on Hastings outsider. And Rosalova, in fact, it's Rosalova on the outside who's going very well indeed. It's tight on the outside there. In lane 5 coming through now is Sherika Williams. Dunn's got a bit of work to do in 4 at the moment. They come into the straight and Dunn's still a couple of metres down. It's Sherika Williams in 5 leading. Going strongly outside is Williams Mills. Real battle between these 3. Dunn's left it a bit too late. It's going to be lovely if Williams Mills, I think, comes through. No, it's Sherika Williams who takes it. Good win there for her, 50.44. I thought that Debbie Dunn would come back at them down the home straight. It was only 2 nights ago that they raced in a very hot, sticky Olympic Stadium in Lausanne, and then much of yesterday will have been spent travelling. It involves obviously 2 flights to get from Geneva to here, so they spend much of the day on the move. Maybe there were some timed legs out there just now, but Sherika Williams taking some very, very useful scalps indeed there, and a pretty solid time, Stu.
Yes, indeed, you're right. Rosalova, right on the outside, ran very, very strongly indeed, didn't she? And at this stage, certainly the winner, Debbie Dunn in Lausanne, was really struggling at this stage, rocking and rolling just a little bit. And Sherika Williams, outside her, looked very, very good indeed. And Noveline Williams-Mills coming in 3rd place. That's how it finished. And out in lane 7, Natasha Hastings, who went off so very, very quickly, faded a little bit in the end and was in 4th place. But, well, that was a pretty tough race. And certainly Debbie Dunn, who won the American trials, the only woman under 50 seconds in this field this season, incidentally, on current form, that is. Couldn't quite match that, but she was 2 days ago running in Lausanne. The Sherika Williams, Tim, 50.44.
Yeah, she certainly worked for it, didn't she? Looks taking a long time to recover there, Sherika Williams. All those clouds, rather ominous, I have to say. Didn't feel as though we're in for a downpour. Confirmation of that win for Sherika Williams, 50.44 for the Jamaicans. Debbie Dunn sandwiched between the Jamaicans in 2nd place, 50.66. And Williams Mills there, 50.9, the 3rd of them under 51 seconds. Nicholas Sanders on 52.89, still looking for that improvement in form. Almost 53 seconds for the Britons. And the first 3, of course, earned Diamond League points, 4-2-1 for 1st, 2nd, 3rd. And this is the way it stands overall. Alison Felix and Moncho, neither of them here today, still on top, but Williams there earning 4 points to move up to 3rd place.
Ostapchuk, 3rd round of this shot now. World champion back, as I said, in Helsinki in 2005. Won the world indoor title, won in Shanghai as well. Good shift, very powerful. Oh, and that's a big throw. That's a big throw. 2023, her best throw so far. And that looks better, certainly does. Looks to be beyond 2050. Really at 20.06 at the moment, just having a little look down. And, oh, it is, it's 20.57. It's a meeting record here, which is pretty tough. Well, Nadine Kleinert. 1866 her best throw thus far. Chasing 20.06 and 20.57. Gets under that, good elevation. It's not going to challenge the lead though. It looks around about the 19-metre mark. Very tall. The taller athletes have a real advantage here, you know. They really do. Just have a look at this. Good lift actually, and good transfer at the end. Just beyond 19 metres. 19 metres and 1 it is. There's the series in third place. Well, there's the result of the shot put. Ostapchuk, Vili and Kleinert, 3 in first, second and third.
Well, Stuart, the conditions are pretty good out there. There's been a slight wind through those earlier sprint heats over this last hour, but nothing particularly strong, and the time is pretty solid in that 400, so I'm optimistic for the middle distance races today.
There's the start list of the 1500 metres. A sprinkling of British athletes amongst the international field, as one would expect. But there's Asbel Kiprot, the world champion, and Augustine Chogi, the Commonwealth 5,000 metre champion, and those two in very, very good form at the moment. More about Kiprot and Chogo in a minute. 3 3/4 laps of the track ahead of them. There's Kiprot, Olympic champion, in very, very good form. Ran a very good 800 metres earlier on this season, just behind David Radici. Ran 1:43.45. Now this is a good race for Andy Badley. He needs a good race here. Commonwealth Games champion at 5,000 metres. The world's fastest miler in 2008, had a great run in Oslo, and that's where he achieved that performance. There's Chogi, the diminutive figure. Very, very quick over 5 and over 1,500 metres. Tim, a great race in prospect, really.
It is indeed, yes, it's a quality field. It's the Olympic champion, and a really good opportunity here, Stuart, for the top 3 or 4 Britons to have a crack at the best of Africa. The Kenyans there in particular, Choge and Kiprot, really should test those Britons, and hopefully here, perhaps with good pacemaking, drag them out to quick times. Let's hope the pacemakers do a good job.
Well, I mentioned the pacemaker. It's David Klumenacker of the United States. They're looking for something between 3:31 and 3:33 if it goes to plan, of course. Chogi is right out in front behind Klumenacker, and in fact Klumenacker has been asked at 1:53 for 800 metres. He's now moving into the lead. Kiprop is up there in second place with him, Chogi in third, so those at the head in terms of performance in the Diamond League thus far are in that first 3. Andy Badley is taking close order in 4th place, and really it looks quite good at the moment, Tim. It looks as though they're on for something.
Well, they're coming on towards 300 metres, 3 laps to go, but good to see Andy Badley up in 4th place. He does have a habit, Andy, of hanging back in the early stages, and I think he does that to be fair in spaces with late races which are very fast indeed. Here he is in 4th place in the blue vest, and obviously up for the task here, Andy, coming up to 400 metres. Now we're looking for around 56 seconds here. 56.3. Badley would have gone through in about 57 dead, so that's pretty much spot on for Andy Badley, and the rest of that pack would be around 57.5 seconds, so good pacemaking there from Klumenacker.
Yeah, Rono's behind Andy Badley, the Kenyan. He was 9th incidentally in Lausanne over 1,500 metres, so obviously he's a 3:33 man though. But there's Kiprot, the tall figure, terrifically quick, as I said, over 800 metres, but he is the Olympic champion over 1,500 metres. At the age of 19, he was the youngest ever Olympic medalist in the event. But of course, Ramsey won the event, but then was disqualified. So just looking at a time, we'll get a check on the halfway mark as it approaches. Kiprot looks very, very comfortable indeed. Rono close order behind him.
You could hardly get anybody longer and thinner, could you, as a middle distance runner? That's the Olympic champion in 2nd place behind Klumenacker, the pacemaker. They come to 800 metres, 1:54.38. That lap a little slower than I would have liked, 58.04. Could have been half a second or a second quicker, but they're still on schedule for something pretty solid here. Now, if Kiprop can kick on strongly from here, Krummenacher pulls wide, his job is done. I'd like to see Colin McCourt here have a good run. You may have seen him about 3 weeks ago winning the European Team Championships in Bergen in Norway for Great Britain. He's a relatively unknown name, is McCourt, the 25-year-old. This is his opportunity to really kick on hard. He's back in about 8th place in that white vest. He needs to go with this surge now, Stuart. Just over a lap to go. This is where the real strength comes in on this penultimate lap and the leading into the final lap. They've got to push hard here.
Well, certainly Gebra Midin of Ethiopia, 4th in the World Indoor Championships recently, has taken up close order. He's in 3rd place at the moment. Kiprop leads. Choge in 2nd place. Gebra Midin in 3rd place. I see Lancashire is running wide at the back there. Badley is tucked in on the inside. He's got to stay close at this stage if he's going to perform at a reasonable level now. Rono coming through very strongly on the outside. That's Jeffrey Rono. He ran the 3rd leg for that Kenyan team, which set the world 4x15 in Brussels in 2009. He's coming wide too. So Kiprop, Chogi, Rono, as they come now with about 150 metres to go in this 1500 metres, and Chogi now beginning to wind up a little bit.
And coming very wide there on the outside. It's I think that's just looking Manzano, the American. He's always had a quick finish. It's Manzano of USA. Kiprop under real danger here.
Kiprop and Manzano. Kiprop gets it. Manzano. It's no. It could have been Chogi in 2nd place, or was that Rono in 2nd place? It was very, very quick at the end. 3:30, 3:35. Actually, it went very much to the script in a way. Kiprop always there. Rono was there, and so was Chogi. Andy Badley looked to be in a good position at the right time, didn't he? But he's still got to get into these races a little bit more in the final stages, particularly coming off the 3rd lap.
Well, he just looked to me, Andy Badley. You can see him there in the background in about 6th place on the inside, so he just lacked the strength through the final 200 metres. This is where they kicked pretty hard. They did go hard from about 300 metres out. I did love this shot. This is like Kiprop in black, the Olympic champion. It's like a man amongst boys. He's towering over the rest of these guys. He's running the shortest line. This is smart running from him, because he gradually wound it up through the last 300 metres, stays on the inside line. That means the others have not only got to accelerate to stay with him, but they've got to run more yards to get past him around the outside, and they couldn't do it. It was a very, very canny race from the Kenyan Olympic champion. Wins by about a metre, Stu. That's all he needed.
Yeah, it was Chogi on the inside, and that was a tight for 2nd place, wasn't it? We'll get the result of that formally in a moment, but very, very tight for 2nd.
Well, I'll tell you what, as well, there's some very good place times there, Stu. I think Badley will have run fast.
Yeah, having said what we've said, you know, we're a bit blasé about you know, the 3:32s and stuff. 3:33, 34 for Kiprop. Chogi 3:33, 51. Manzano, the American, 3:33, 51. He ran that very well. It's the season's best. He came through very, very late, didn't he? Just ahead of Gebra Midin of Ethiopia. Badley's time 3:45, 3:34, 50, which is a personal best. So we can't criticise that too much. He did come through quickly, but in fact he went past Rono.
Well, it's a long overdue improvement on the personal best of Andy Badley, that. I know he's worth a couple of seconds quicker, but I don't think he looked that good today, actually. I think he'd have been disappointed with his ability to respond and go with the Africans there through that final 200 metres, and that's what he needs.
He had in the first round as well.
The men's long jump has already taken place, and I can tell you that Michel Tournius has had a very good day. Tournius here in his very first round, most recently placed only 5th in Madrid.
The 2009 World
Got a season's best of 8:10 as a long jumper, his lifetime best 8:11, so he's in good form, we know that. And here producing 8:01 in the first round. It was the best of the first round, indeed led the competition for a fully 3 rounds. And only did he get past in that final round. Perfect on the board there from Tournius. And the Swiss there failed to qualify for the World Championship final last year in Berlin. But that 8:01 was the best of his series. Ended up in 2nd place with that effort. And they took some pretty useful scalps here with the Britons Tomlinson and Rutherford behind him. Irving Saladino, well, the Olympic champion, of course, from Panama. The 2007 World Champion as well. Couldn't retain that title last year in Berlin. But here today, in round 3. It took him a little while to get going, Saladino, but producing 7 metres at 96, just short of 8 metres by his standards. A pretty poor competition, it has to be said. Remember, this is a man with a season's best of 8 metres 30, a lifetime best of a massive 8.73, but that was his best effort. Couldn't even reach 8 metres today. 7.96. His second and fourth rounds were no jumps to go with that one. 7.92 his opening effort, and a very, very lacklustre competition, I have to say, from the Olympic champion, and that's giving him third place.
This is Kate's second.
Well, Fabrice Lapierre of Australia, he heads the Diamond League rankings, and Lapierre, with this jump today, taking a very, very convincing win. It's round 4, he left it late. Indeed, his first 2 efforts were no jumps. 7.85 in the third round, and then here he goes. Fourth and final effort for the Australian, the world indoor champion last March. That one coming down at 8 metres 20. He left it very late indeed. In fact, it was the penultimate jump for the entire competition. Each jumper only having 4 efforts. At 8 metres 20 for Lapierre gave him the win, gave him maximum Diamond League points. Puts him on top of the heat now with fully 9 points to top the Diamond League rankings. Saladino doesn't have too many competitions like that. Lapierre able to take full advantage of it. There's his card. And that's how it ended up in the men's long jump final. The Australian world indoor champion Lapierre with 8 metres 20, beating not only Tonius of Sweden, but Saladino, the Olympic champion, who finished only third and couldn't approach the 8 metre barrier today. Well, the next event on the track is the women's 1500 metres, and it's a very, very strong race this. It's not a Diamond League race, incidentally. In fact, well, there's a lot of athletes in this field who've gone very close to 4 minutes. Stephanie Twell and Helen Clitheroe of Great Britain amongst them. It's Lisa Zabriskie there, who is the Commonwealth champion, who is the only athlete in this field that's ever broken 4 minutes for 1500 metres. That's a magical mark for ladies, rather conveniently. 4 3 3/4 laps of the track. 12 athletes out there. The pacemaker will be Karen Shinkins, and she's due to go out at 4-minute pace. That's 64 seconds per lap. But Lisa Zabriskie, under the tutelage of George Gandy, had a very good run in Lausanne 2 nights ago. She finished 4th there in 4:01. And I would hope that this sort of race, in these conditions, good conditions, will be run at an honest pace too. Of course, it's entirely up to the athletes in these sort of ventures to accept or reject the pace laid down by the designated pacemaker. Steph Twell there in 2nd place. She's still only 20 years old, Steph Twell, the former world junior champion, or she's still the reigning world junior champion for a few more days, because the world's best juniors gather in Canada in a week or so. But Steph Twell took world junior gold in 2008, then got Olympic experience that summer, didn't make it through the rounds. But Hannah England there, another top British talent. We really are rather wealthy in this particular discipline when it comes to talent. Hannah England from Oxford City, coached by Bud Valdaro, won the UK title a couple of weeks ago with a 56-second final lap. She's the tall, blonde young lady there in 4th place. You can see Shinkins here moving well, showing some concern for whether or not they go with her. And at the moment it's Steph Twell who's having to try and maintain contact. 63.1 at 400 metres from Shinkins. That's very good indeed. It means Twell's gone through in about 63.5. It means the rest of them gone through in around 64 seconds. And it's shaping up well, running wide at the moment. You can see Helen Clitheroe towards the outside, the British record holder in the steeplechase.
Yeah, I think the point about Steph Twell is that she's had 1 or 2 races which she would consider to be disappointing. She really doesn't have the sprint finish. We've said that several times before, and she has to go out and run a fast pace on this. I have a feeling that in the future the 5,000 metres or 10,000 metres may well be the sort of race that we will see her prevailing. She's a real talent indeed. But you're right, Mwangi of Kenya's up there, so is Moser of the United States, as you can see on the inside tucked in, alongside Hannah England, who ran the UK championship, Tim. Got that 56.8 last lap for Hannah, so she's got a little bit of basic speed.
Well, Shinkins pulls aside, Steph Twell out in front now, Mwangi in second place. Anna England just trying to close that gap. I really wish he would make contact. 2:10 at 800. Look at that lap, 67 seconds. It's very slow, and that's disappointing. It rejects any chance of a really quick time here today. Zabriskie in fourth place, just shadowing Hannah England. There could be a really good dust-up between those two Brits in this one, because I know George Gandy, the coach of Lisa Zabriskie, is very, very intent on making sure she always runs a solid final lap, and I think Hannah England in third place here will also be thinking about that surge over the final 300 metres too. So it's coming into the final 500 metres. The youngster Steph Twell leading from Mwangi. Hannah England, the UK champion, in third place. Lisa Zabriskie in fourth place. Zabriskie, of course, is the World Championship medalist, and she's looking strong at the moment. Usani is going well too. Usani of the USA, who had a great personal best in Lausanne. They hit the bell in almost exactly 3 minutes there. Now Twell needs to start digging in hard, because he hasn't got the big kick off the final bend, Stuart, that the others have. But I tell you what, Zabriskie's looking very relaxed, so is England.
Yeah, Zabriskie ran a very strong second half of the race in Lausanne with that 4:01. They went out there to try and achieve 4:5. It didn't work that way. They said if they tried 4:5, they might not have got 4:1. But look at this now. Twell is going to get run down, certainly. She looks to be struggling a little bit now, but Zabriskie looks very, very comfortable indeed, doesn't she?
Well, 12 has given her best through the middle of the race, but it didn't ask any questions. The big names, Zabriskie now out in front. She just needs to keep winding it up here, Lisa. She's a very, very smart racer. She always saves something for the home straight. Usani on her shoulder. She's kicked hard now. She's gone. Zabriskie needs to keep that stride going. Hannah England in their wake. Now, has Hannah England got the speed here? This is a great run from Usani of the USA. Former basketball player, coached by Terence Mahon, trains up at Mammoth Lakes at altitude. But Zabriskie's got the legs. She saved it for the last 50. What a clever run. Usani and England coming through in second and third there. I think that's a good run from Helen Clitheroe for fourth place. Winning time 4:3.69, and that from Lisa Zabriskie is a very, very solid run to back up her 4:01 performance in Lausanne 48 hours ago. You can never write her off in the last 200 metres, Lisa Zabriskie. She's got wonderful speed endurance. She just keeps on coming. It was a huge shock when she won that Commonwealth title, Stuart, 4 years ago, but we've seen that particular quality again and again over the last 3 or 4 years, and today she actually handled that field pretty comfortably.
Yeah, she's a mature racer now, isn't she? She knows where she is, what she's doing at all times, and I was talking to her in Lausanne. She said that now she's qualified for the European Championship. She wanted several races because she wasn't entirely race fit, she said. She needs the races to get her fit. She's had problems with injuries. It's been a slow start to the season, but my goodness me, it's now beginning to pick up as she comes into the straight now, and she does have a very, very strong finish indeed. It was a good performance. Good race in the end between the front three. Really good race. Usani of the United States ran very, very strongly indeed. Hannah England too in third place. Usani in second place. Hannah England in third. But Zabriskie, look at that, looks comfortable, doesn't she?
Well, there's more in the tank. Clearly she needs a few more races, just Lisa Zabriskie, but that's very encouraging. Only 3 or 4 weeks ago, George was saying to me in Lausanne, her coach, she was nowhere near in this sort of shape. So she has sharpened up really, really quickly, and I think there's a great deal more to come. And things are looking good with those European Championships, just 17 days away in Barcelona. British middle distance running really is going from strength to strength on the women's side.
Well, let's just bring you up to date with the result of the men's 1500 metres. Kiprot there, the winner. Just outside 3:33 with 3:33.34. Augustine Choge, 3:33.51. Manzano, 3:33.51, a season's best. Andy Badley, personal best. There's the second half of the finishers. McCall, personal best. Couple more season's best, and Brooks, a personal best. So a good race for most there. Well, the men's 1500 Diamond League standings would be of interest now. Let's have a look at this. Kiprot with 14 points, absolutely dominant, really. Choge hasn't run them all, of course, with 6, and Gebre Medin with 4. Lalu, Gathimba, and Mazandu. Incidentally, Gathimba is going to pace the 5,000 metres later on today. He's pulled out of the 1500 metres today.
Well, the action continues on the infield, and the pole vault for ladies has been underway for some time. Svetlana Feofanova, former Olympic and world champion, is in the field, the Russian with Sinbayeva, now saying she's not going to jump until next February. The world record holder and reigning Olympic champion is sitting out the entire 2010 summer. Fabiana Moura, though, is the top vaulter in the world from Brazil in the absence of the great Russian. And Moura came in at 4:41, cleared that first time. Here goes clear at 4 meters 61. She's a very neat vaulter, well proportioned, good speed, excellent strength as well, and she's been gradually hacking her way through the top Russians and Poles that have dominated this event for the last half dozen or so years towards the top of the world rankings, and that's pretty much where she stands now. 4:61 there for Fabiana Moura.
Yeah, got a lot of confidence in winning the world indoor title, didn't she? And that really does give her a great deal of confidence. Silke Spiegelberg of Germany next up, twice Olympic finalist. 4:61 the second attempt, and that's good. 4:71 her best this season, her personal best set this season. Second in the Rome Diamond League. Lost to Fiafanova recently, clearing 4:71. That was in Wattenscheid, Germany. Good clearance, straight down the middle. Both of the girls really powering into the plant, and then with confidence.
And Svetlana Fiafanova, as I said, one-time world record holder, one-time Olympic and world champion, going over 4:61 at the second attempt there. Fiafanova, well, there's no love lost between her and Sinbayeva, the two teammates of Russia. In fact, it's been known to them to refuse to fly on the same plane. Well clear of that. There's plenty more to come from Fiafanova. She is a big jumper, we know that. She's a 4:88 jumper, very high up on the world all-time list. Well, Lisa Zabriskie celebrating that victory. Normal service is resumed. She's had her fair share of injury problems. The confirmation of that win for Lisa Zabriskie, 4:03.69 from Morgan Husseini. Hannah England and Helen Clitheroe in second, in third and fourth, underlining the strength of British middle distance running. Those are good place times and a real return to form there for Helen Clitheroe in fourth place. Anything under 4:10 is strong running.
Well, overcast it may be, but we've got the race of the day to come up, and that's the men's 100 metres, and it's the big head-to-head between Asafa Powell and Tyson Gay. They're in adjacent lanes, as you'll see very shortly, and the heats, Powell ran 10.11 into 2 metre per second headwind, but I'm just looking around the stadium and it seems to have quietened down. There's the lineup for the 100 metres final then. Devenish, Freighter, Powell, Gay, Bailey, Ndury, Ryan Bailey and Kimmons. It's a terrific lineup, but particularly lanes 3 and 4. When you look at the two athletes in those lanes, terrific. Asafa Powell now basking in the situation where Usain Bolt is not yet at full fitness, although he ran sub 9.9 in Lausanne, winning easily a couple of nights ago. And Tyson Gay is coming back from injury as well. Got beaten in the 200 metres in Eugene by Walter Dix, but my goodness, what a powerhouse of a race that was. Let's go through the lanes then. Marlon Devenish, the Coventry Godiva from Great Britain. The best this season of 10.34, qualified as the fastest loser for this final. Very popular. Well, Michael Freighter of Jamaica, world silver medalist in Helsinki in 2005. Second in Eugene. Asafa Powell, history's most prolific sub-10-second 100-metre sprinter. 9.82 in Rome, his 70th sub-10-second run. Tyson Gay. Let's listen to the introduction and the response of the crowd. Tyson Gay, the second fastest man all time. Daniel Bailey, drawn in the next lane. 4th at the World Senior, Junior and Youth Championships. He's been around. Sidian Dury, the Gambian and now Norwegian record holder at 100 and 200 metres, drawn in lane 6. And then Ryan Bailey, drawn out in lane 7. 3rd in Eugene, 9th in New York, a best of 10.09. And Trell Kimmins of the United States, he was 4th in the World Indoor Championships just recently in Doha. He qualified with 10.23.
Well, Stuart, I'm fascinated to see Powell against Gay. It's the clash the Diamond League has been waiting for. 2 of the big 3 going head-to-head. Had a chat with Tyson Gay in Eugene last week where he was beaten over 200 metres, coming back from injury. He said he's still getting a lot of pain from that hamstring. Let's just hope it holds out when he gives it 100% of a thrashing.
The men's 100 metres. Devonish, Frater, Powell, Gay, Bailey, Dury, Bailey, that's Ryan Bailey, and Trell Kimmins. The big 2, Powell on the right, Gay on the left of your shot. Away this time, and Powell has got the better start of the 2, and Powell looks to me to be away from Tyson Gay at the moment. Gay's got a lot of work to do, and here comes the suffer. Tyson Gay coming through. Gay, I think, gets it from Powell. It was so close. Oh my goodness me, 9.93 into 1.7 metres per second. Now, did Tyson Gay do enough? It looked to me as though he hit the line first. We'll see. My goodness me, that was a cracking last 20 metres by Tyson Gay. He has the strength and endurance over 200 metres, and my goodness, what a good finish. What a powerful finish that is. And let's hope he's not injured.
Fantastic race, wasn't it? Lived up to every bit of the billing. Everything everybody wanted from that race came out on the track there, Stuart. Brilliant running. 9.94 for Gay confirms the winning time. 9.96 for Powell. I tell you what though, Gay had to work for that because Powell was half a metre up after 3 or 4 strides. He got much the better start to the big Jamaican, but Gay really worked hard through the second half. The 200 metre strength did come through, as you said, Stuart. He was probably still accelerating through 70, 80 metres when most of them have long hit top speed. Look at this, 20 metres in, 30 metres in. Powell had the race done. I thought he was away and gone. I never thought that Gay would get there. But Gay here, between about 50 and 80, really dug deep. Wonderful, wonderful rhythm from him, even though he starts rocking hard there in the last 10 metres. And he gets it standing up, glances left. He has time to stare across at Asif Powell in a rather demeaning way almost. I know he didn't mean it that way, but not too many people in the world at the moment have the ability to glance across and slightly backwards at Asif Powell at the form he's in.
A headwind of minus 1.7 metres per second. What a shame. But this is the point. It looked as though Powell had got it, but look how fast Tyson Gay comes through at the finish. That was terrific over the last. Let's have another look at this from the front. Powell got a terrific start. Gay didn't. Gay was well down. He really was. He was a metre down or so. And that at this level against the Asif Powell is often a sign that he's not going to do it. But this, look how different. Gay is under pressure. Look at his face. Powell, his jowls bouncing. He's relaxed. He looks good, technically good. No tying up at all. But Tyson Gay is a fighter. He's a battler. He wanted this. I've been out for some time. I want to come back, show I'm the man, or at least I'm one of them. The second fastest man all time prevails.
Well,
what a good race, Tim. Well, there's confirmation. Tyson Gay, 9.94, season's best into a strong headwind. Asif Powell, 9.96. Good run by Daniel Bailey at 10.15 in third.
Well, that was absolutely fabulous, wasn't it? One of the great 100-metre races of the last 10, 20 years, for my money. The time 9.94 might not be anywhere near the ridiculous world record of Usain Bolt, but the manner of the racing there was quite fantastic. It was one to really relish. Fantastic stuff. Well, this is Villion in the javelin throw for ladies, and Villion in the very first round, the South African got pumping one out to 64.32. fabulous effort from Villion. 27 years old, the African record holder, the Commonwealth champion from 4 years ago, the World Student Games champion last year. She has a good championship temperament, improved her African record to 66.38 just a couple of weeks ago. Today 64.32 in the first round, and that turned out to be good enough for the win. Cara Patterson, the USA, she is the American champion, won the Eugene Diamond League meeting 8 days ago as well. Indeed, she retained her US title 3 weeks ago. Failed to qualify for the Olympic final or the World Championship final last year, but she's gradually working herself into world-class shape. She saved her best to last, 63 metres 11, coming in the final round for Patterson to give her second place. Her next best from her 4 throws, remember they only had 4 each, 56.47 her opener. Then she had a couple of no throws in the middle. That was actually her opening effort, 56.47. She did produce something considerably better in the last round. Well, the men's steeplechase is next. Relatively small field here, only some 10 athletes in the field, but it is a quality field, although nobody in the world this year has yet broken the magical 8-minute barrier. This Luke Kiplagat is a late addition to this field, 8.16 was season best and personal best. That was from the middle of May. Former World Junior silver medalist is Kiplagat. Of course, it's an event very much dominated by the Kenyans on the global scene, although today, well, we've got Britain and Australia and a South African, a couple of Americans and a Portuguese in this field as well. Top 2 in Europe, incidentally, are French, Bob Tari and Mekisi Benabad, and both have recently set world bests for 2,000 metre steeplechase. It's a non-championship distance, obviously. Barcelona should be a real dust-up between those two.
But it gives us a chance to look back at Spatakova, and the world record holder, the Olympic champion, the world champion in 2007. Spatakova. What you can do here. Hits it long and hard. Looks to be quite useful, that one. And that's only just on 60, so Spatakova having a few problems there. 59 metres and 97. First round throw. Fast arm, but the timing not quite right. Stalled a little bit. There it is. Second place with that throw.
Well, back to this steeplechase. The field waiting to be brought on the starter's orders. The fastest time in the world this year was by Premin Kipruto in Lausanne 2 nights ago. 8:01. The Kenyan ran there. They need to be moving along here at around 64 seconds per lap if they're to get anywhere near 8 minutes, and that's a very, very tall order for the majority of this field, it has to be said. Luke Gunn, the UK champion, nearest the camera there is the man coached by Baldaro, his lifetime best, 8:28. That was 2 years ago. Well, away they go. Relatively small field, it has to be said. The Diamond League race leader is Paul Koech. He's giving this one a miss as well. There is no pacemaker, incidentally. That might make it all the harder to get a decent tempo going here. Well, I'm glad to see most of the field going with what looks to be a fairly healthy pace in these early stages. Indeed, it is a healthy pace. And the lead there is Ramalefi, the South African. 7-time South African champion, in fact, Ramalefi. He's their national record holder. And at the moment, he's doing a very, very good job as an unofficial pacemaker.
Well, certainly the fastest time of the world this year set in Lausanne at 8 minutes 1.62. For 2,000 metres, they were well inside 8 metres, just faltered a little towards the end, but it was a very, very good run. And in fact, Ramalefi, we just mentioned him, he failed to finish in Lausanne, but early on in the season, he was the world leader. And South African record holder. He's won their title 7 times, you were saying, Tim, earlier on. He's leading and obviously taking it on. We've got Mike Kipyego there, the Kenyan, the world junior champion back in 2002. And I would think Linus Chumba, also of Kenya, might well feature in this as well.
Well, they come round with a lap and a half done already. They're beginning to string out. So I rather fancy Ramolefi setting down a good pace here. It is Ramolefi from Kipyego and Chumba. Kiplagat in 4th place, and then the best of the rest going through is Slattery in the green for the USA. Slattery, well, he was US champion back in 2003. Third in the US Championships a couple of weeks ago, trying to get back to his best form. He's an 8:15 runner at his best, and for non-Africans, anything under 8:30 is pretty, and 8:20 is pretty useful.
Well, this is Jessica Ennis, of course, the world champion at heptathlon. One of her events. This is her first round throw, and she's getting stronger and stronger, and her real improvement will come in it's a second round throw, this one, incidentally. We're just looking back. Hits it very, very hard, and that went out to 46 metres and 15. The world heptathlon champion, building on her shot, building on her javelin, and that a very, very good throw indeed.
Well, back in the steeplechase, still Kipyego leading now. Ramolefi as he's back there with that green headband. Chumba in 2nd place, and beginning to open up a bit of a grip on Ramolefi, the South African. Back in 4th place there in the white vest, you can see Kiplagat with Slattery behind him, and Abdi in turn further back. The Commonwealth bronze medalist over 1,500 metres, incidentally, back in 2002. Remember those games in Manchester? Well, Abdi in 6th place was the bronze medalist over 1,500 metres. That marvellous final won by England's Mike East. But down the back straight now with 1,000 metres gone, and the time at 1,000 metres 2:46. That's around 8:18 pace. It's solid enough, not really world class these days, but without a pacemaker, of course, 9 times out of 10 the tempo will never be as quick as with a pacemaker. Inside water jump there over the far end of the arena, taken by this pair who are just beginning to open up a significant gap on Ramolefi in 3rd place. It's still in the lead there, Kipyego from Chumba, and well, you could almost say normal service being maintained, couldn't you? Kiplagat in 3rd, Bruce, that is, in green. I think I said it was Slattery, my mistake. Ben Bruce of the USA, who was 2nd in their championships. He's only an 8:26 runner, but at the moment now in 3rd place.
Well, the tenor of the race has been set very early on, hasn't it? Mike Kipyego, the Kenyan, is 26. He's got a best of 8:16.46 so this season, 8:08.48. That was last season. So he's got a pedigree ahead of Linus Chumba, who has a best of 8:11. That was back in 2005, though, 8:19.26 this season. Just to bring you a couple of statistics there, he was 6th in the Kenyan championships, and such is the depth of steeplechase talent in Kenya. They win most of the major championships now, not just the gold, but the silver and bronze as well.
No, that's exactly right, Stuart. I think one of the mistakes that a lot of the top European runners, non-African runners make is they don't work hard enough at their 5,000 metre strength, because to me the steeplechase, although it's 3,000 metres, is a strong man's event, and if you can't run international standard times at 5,000 metres, I think you're going to struggle at the steeplechase. Certainly you're not going to get far below 8:20, and a lot of these athletes, when you look at their cards, you look at their CVs, they really can't cut it as runners on the flat, and that's almost a sort of prerequisite before going to the chase. Of course, some of the people would say, well, they move to the chase because they can't run well on the flat, but then it's sort of illogical to think you therefore are going to become world class at the chase either, because the top runners at steeplechase are very, very useful on the flat. Chumba now pushing on hard down the back straight, coming up towards 2,000 metres, and there it is, 5:32, 2:46 for that one as well. Almost identical, metronomic running from these two men out in front. 2:46.17 and 2:46.09. You couldn't make it up. You certainly couldn't do it if you tried. 5:32 then was that combined time at 2,000 metres. They're still very much on schedule for something under 8:20 here. Bruce back in 3rd place, but pretty isolated now. He's got about 20 or 25 metres of track in front of him and about 20 metres of track behind him as well. As they come through now with 2 laps to go, it's Kenya 1-2, Bruce of the USA in 3, then Kiplagat in 4, Abdi of Australia, better known as the 1500 metre runner, as I said, back in 5th place at the moment. But the field pretty strung out here, and yet conditions are good in Gateshead. It's a cloudy, grey afternoon, no sunshine whatsoever here in the arena, but it's very warm and close. It's probably 24, 25 degrees, but the humidity is high.
Yeah, it is, and I just the wind seems to have died a little bit now, which is very good indeed. A little bit too late for the men's 100, but this steeplechase event unfolding, that's down that's 1, 2, 3, 4th, 5th and 6th places, and the leaders have actually been taking it in turns. They've shared the lead very often to help each other around, and now they'll start racing, of course, as they come into the bell, with Kipyego leading Chumba with just that about 50 metres to go, plus 1 lap.
Well, there's 3 separate races in effect. Kipyego against Chumba, then the isolated Bruce of the USA in 3rd place, about 7:16 at the bell there, and then the second pack go through with Abdi of Australia just heading Luke Gunn with under a lap to go, and Kiplagat now dropping back as we go into the back straight with Kipyego leading and Chumba in 2nd place. It's quite a nice hurdler, is Kipyego, better than most of the Kenyans, but as an 8:08 performer he ought to be comfortable at this pace. They're running at about 8:18 tempo. Still haven't really opened up much ground on Bruce. He's working very hard there. Ben Bruce is a strong run from the 27-year-old. If anything, he's closed up on them quite a bit over the last lap and a half or so. I would imagine the sprint between these two will take them further clear. They hit the barrier there. Kipyego clears it without putting his foot on it, as you can see, and into the straight they come down. Chumba kicks past hard. Kipyego trying to respond. The way they cover that final barrier is critical. Chumba takes it much the better. He sprints away to a comfortable victory. It's deceptive. He's about 15 metres clear as he hits the line in 8:19. Chumba wins it from Kipyego. Bruce there comes through in about 8:23. Good running from the American. And Gunn trying desperately to get past Abdi. And does he get there? I think he does, yes. In about 8:29. I think a click under 8:30, which would be encouraging running for Luke Gunn of the UK. It's the season's best by several seconds, that's for sure. Very close to his personal best. So, a meeting record of 8:19 there for Chumba. Make sure that standards are being pushed on here at Gateshead Stadium, with all the really big names missing from this one. Remember, this is not a Diamond League race in this particular contest. Well, Chumba then flattering perhaps with that a very impressive sprint over the last 50 or 60 metres to go well clear. But when you think that winning time 8:19, fastest time in the world by Kipruto 2 nights ago, 8:01. There's that battle for the 4th spot, which Gunn just won.
Well, final round then of the women's javelin. This is Viljoen in the 4th round, 64-32 her lead from the 1st round, and that around about the same distance, probably a little bit less, difficult to tell without the line to help us. But Viljoen, the African record holder, the Commonwealth Games champion in 2006, won a meet in Prague recently, improved her African record to 66 metres and 38. 63.89 then, that 4th round. There are only 4 rounds. Well, Patterson, Cara Patterson of the United States of America, 56.47, 2 no throws. This is her 4th round throw, so she needed a bit. That was better elevation. She'd be allowing the point of the javelin getting away, and it was pulling not along the line of the javelin but through it, and it was stalling very badly, but that was better, and Patterson really hit it there. That was much better on the delivery, and she knows it. You can tell the body language when they hit that line, and that was 63.11, and that took her into 2nd place. That was better. Well, Spatakova, not in form, the world record holder. She's got a best this season of 68.66, really struggling. 2 under 60, the 3rd no throw, and looking for form. It looked as though she'd got behind that javelin there, but it fell very short. Well, not too short, but short by her standards, yes. 62 metres and 2 centimetres. really trying to get the form that's seen her throw 72-28 in Olympic year, winning that Olympic title. And now it's a bit tougher. Had a bit of injury, she certainly has. And there it is, 62.02. She's in third place behind Billion and Patterson. We'll have a look at the overall result of that now. There it is, Billion, Patterson, Spatakova. Hans Gauthier, the season's best, in fourth place. Klimsova, Whittingham, Great Britain. Jessica Ennis, 46.15, not quite up to her personal best, but very close. And Zilaka did not start, of course, at the bottom of that caption. Well, there are the standings. Spatakova, not here today, 8 points. Patterson moves up into second with 6. Viljoen also with 6. Abakumova with 4. Ladej with 3. And Rebrit with 1.
Well, the action continues here in the Gateshead International Stadium. Those fake crowds should not deceive you. It's very warm, it's relatively windless, and the sprinting continues.
Well, there's the lineup for the women's 100 metres final. Ferguson McKenzie drawn in lane 1. Solomon 2. Barber 3. Jetta 4. Baptiste 5. Simpson 6. Russell 7. Brooks in lane 8. 3 Jamaicans, 2 Americans, 1 Trinidadian, 1 from Bahamas. And this should be a cracker too. Carmelita Jetta in very, very good form indeed, but on the evidence of the heats, the Trinidadian Kellyanne Baptiste looked pretty strong. Debbie Ferguson of the Bahamas, 11.27 her best this season, was 4th in Lausanne a couple of days ago. She's drawn in the inside lane. She's had a lane in all 6 Olympic sprint finals so far in this century. How about that? Solomon in the second lane. Shalanda Solomon of the United States was 3rd in her heat. She is a sub-11 second performer. Michaeli Barber of the United States in very good form as well. 11.17 this season. She's drawn in that 3rd lane. Now Carmelita Jetta. What an end to the 2009 season she had with 2 or 3 performances below 10.7. It was absolutely superb. In good form. So was Baptiste. The Trinidadian looked very good in qualifying. She's their record holder at 60, 100 and 200. Set a meeting record. 10.93 in qualifying. Jerome Simpson didn't quite get there in the heats. 11.13 was her time. But Olympic silver medalist, of course, who's 6th in the Athens Olympic final too. Well, this is Carrie Russell of Jamaica. Carrie Russell. Right on the outside next to Sherry-Ann Brooks. Russell was 3rd in her heat, 11.14, just bring you up to date with that. Sherry-Ann Brooks, drawn in lane 8. A difficult lane with the seeded lanes to the middle. Commonwealth champion at 100 metres in 2006, Sherry-Ann Brooks of Jamaica in lane 6. Well, with 3 Jamaicans in this, the sprint relay, no wonder it's as good as it is. Jetta and Baptiste, the 2 principals in this race. Who will prevail? Jetta looking to get under 11 seconds, and it does appear to be a little bit calmer at this time. Ferguson McKenzie, Solomon, Barber, Jetta, Baptiste, Simpson, Russell and Brooks. The women's 100 metres final. Well, certainly Baptiste got away better than that on Simpson, going very strongly indeed. And here comes Carmelita Jetta through the middle along with Kellyanne Baptiste. Jetta's going to get there. Jetta gets there, Baptiste second, and Simpson in third. Jetta 10.95. And that's a meeting record. It is indeed by 1/100th of a second. Takes the meeting record that... Actually, having said that, 10.93 was the heat time. And I'm looking down at the plus 0.3. Carmelita Jetta got through there in the end. I was just looking at those times. I think Baptiste, if I remember correctly, did 10.93 in the heat, so that's not quite as quick, but a very, very good run indeed.
It was indeed, yes. Third from left. Look, what a great start Sharon Simpson gets. Simpson leads, certainly through the first 25, but she's long and lithe and probably better at 200 metres. And you can see Jetta, fourth from right there, powering away from middle of the race onwards. Baptiste coming with her, both of them getting past Simpson. But Carmelita Jetta had to really work for this one. Those aren't big margins at the finish. She's about 8 or 10 inches ahead at the line. And 10.95 plus 0.3. That's pretty impressive. They'd had a stronger wind behind them. She'd have been sub 10.9 when you think that the men's race was won in 9.94 by Tyson Gay with a minus 1.7 wind. Wow, what would Gay have done if he'd had neutral wind or indeed a tailwind today? Conditions for sprinting are very, very good indeed in terms of this track surface and the temperature.
I'll just have a look at Jetta. She didn't perform particularly well in the World Championships, but after the World Championships in Berlin, she was totally unbeatable. She was so very powerful in all of the races. 10.67 in Thessaloniki, 10.64 in Shanghai. She emerged as the world number one after the championship had finished. But this was a tough one, it really was. Baptiste gave her a real battle, and Sharon Simpson, who put pressure on both of them over the first 60 or 70 metres or so. Well, we'll confirm all of that in a moment. I think it was just outside the meeting record, which stands at 10.93, which was Kylian Baptiste. We'll look at that shortly.
Well, our computers say that the meeting record is 11.06 by Tori Edwards from 4 years ago rather. Now, Phillips Idowu in this triple jump competition. Of course, Phillips Idowu, the man who has had series of wonderful performances, including that World Championship title last year, the World Indoor title the previous year. Here goes Idowu in the second round.
Well, he seems to start just on the forward, but that looks like the lead in the competition.
With 16.83,
Randy Lewis was the best we had prior to that closing jump.
Well beaten by Tamgo of France in New York 3 or 4 weeks back. Good on the board there is Idowu. I think one thing the 31-year-old Londoner has got to his name is real consistency. You know that Phillips is always going to be out there jumping around 17.40, 17.50 at worst. And today, well, 16.91 he opens with. Not as good as he'd like, certainly.
In this race.
So Lewis, Randy Lewis, this is of Grenada. Lewis, who is a man well capable of big jumping in his time. 17.49 a couple of years ago. This year, only just over 17 metres, 17.08. And that one, well, according to those superimposed lines across the sand, looks to be just over 17 metres. He is the national record holder both indoors and out, and based in Germany. And the Germans really know something about their technical events. He's perfect on the board. It's Randy Lewis. Had very bad luck to jump 17.06 in Beijing, and that was not good enough to advance to the final, can you believe? 17.11 for Randy Lewis in the second round to take the lead at that point. Well, the next event on the track is the women's 800 metres final.
I was just hesitating there for a moment. We may get a look at Fiafanova in the pole vault shortly, because she's attempting 4 metres and 81. She's cleared 4.71 on the third attempt and won the competition. Mura is out, Spiegelberg is out at 4.61. Now then. No. Well, she's got 2 more attempts to go. Whether she takes them or not, having won the competition, well, we'll see. But Fiafanova certainly ruled the roost before her teammate came into the fore.
Well, I mentioned that it's 2-lap action time, and indeed it is. There is the lineup for the women's 800 metres, the first page, and another event this which really does underline the strength of British middle distance running. Jenny Meadows, World Championship bronze medalist, goes in this one up against Janet Jepkowski, the world champion in 2007, the Olympic and world silver medalist since then. This is a field of the very highest order. It's perhaps the best race of the afternoon. Barring that men's 100 metres, which was such a cracker, of course. Krebson of the Ukraine goes up in lane 2. 8th in Rome, but 4th in the World Championships last year, Klevsun. She's a 1:57 performer at best. Alicia Johnson goes on the inside of lane 3. The American is the champion from a month ago in their nationals. Only 5th in Eugene though a week ago. There's Jenny Meadows. Jenny Meadows in lane 4. What a talent and what a athlete she has become. A former 400 metre runner. She's a tiny figure. Took the silver medal though back in March at the World Indoor Championships, and since then has put together some very good racing. A 2nd in Shanghai, a 3rd in Rome. She's in fine fettle as Jenny Meadows. Bernard Thomas. Well, nature Bernard Thomas of Grenada. At last, on May the 1st, she went under 2 minutes, 4 years after she ran within 1/10 of a second of 2 minutes. It took her a long time. Marilyn Okoro, let's hope she's fighting her way back to full fitness. She's a very good, brave runner. Okoro likes the front run, but was injured for much of the winter. And Jep Kosko, we saw just there, as I mentioned, the reigning Commonwealth champion, who was the Olympic silver medalist, and the silver medalist from those World Championships last year. And watch out for Haklaf too, because Haklaf, the Moroccan, had a big win in Rome, a huge personal best, some 4 or 5 weeks ago. Still only 21 years old. Maggie Bessie of the USA, 2nd in American Championships. A poor 9th in Eugene 8 days ago, but on her personal best of 1:57 in Monaco last year. On her day again, Maggie Bessie, a top athlete to be contested with. The best race over 800 this year was last week in Eugene, where the first 9 women broke that 2-minute barrier. Jenny Meadows, well, it's a formality for her sub 2 minutes. She's had a tight Achilles for the last 2 or 3 weeks, so her last race was actually in Rome a month ago today. Let's hope Jenny Meadows hasn't lost too much fitness. UK champion Gemma Simpson is not even running. She's at altitude in Font-Romeu. On the way they go, quite a big field, but what a quality field this is. Wonderful test this for the likes of Jenny Meadows up against Jep Koskay and Haklaf. Meadows, as you can see, the tiny figure there in blonde in the centre of that picture. She's probably the shortest in the field by 2 or 3 inches, but she's got spirit to match the best of them. Won't want to get boxed here, and doesn't mind front running, Jenny Meadows, either. She's quite a brave athlete in that respect. She's got good 400 metre speed. Oh, a bit of shoving and pushing at the back of the field there.
Yeah, and it was Jep Koskay who suffered. She went very badly down to the back of the field. She almost fell, but just managed to stay on her feet. And of course, Jep Koskay, the world champion in 2007, 1:57.84 this season. And I just wonder how that will affect her. She looked very, very comfortable. She just moved up into a position to attack Jenny Meadows. And then, of course, the stumble came. They're all in close order.
Well, when I spoke to Jenny a month ago, she just completed a personal best session before a great race in Rome. 60 seconds exactly at 400 metres. Now, that's not particularly quick. Johnson has come past her, though. Meadows in 3rd place at the moment. Klevsun in 2nd. And I'd really like to have seen Jenny Meadows hang on to that front spot a little bit longer. Bert Thomas, that is, in the purple there in 3rd place. She's an awkward mover, Bert Thomas of the USA, but she's a very strong runner too. Jenny Meadows at the moment looking a little out of sorts. I'd like to have seen her closer up to the front of this field. Haklaf moving down the outside there all in black. Now Meadows pushes on hard with 200 metres to run though. It's Bert Thomas of the USA from Klevsun. Johnson there is also going strongly. Alicia Johnson of the USA. Those are the top 3, and there's a bit of a gap back to Meadows. Jep Koskay has got a lot of work to do at the moment. She's way back in about 8th place on the outside. Johnson kicks hard past Bert Thomas. Klevsun's got some work to do. Can Jenny Meadows come through? It's the sort of race she would have won a month back. She's obviously lost a lot of fitness here. What a good run this is from Alicia Johnson. She's going to take it. The American crossed the line. 4 metres to the good. Late run there from Haklaf to get to 2nd spot. And I think Klevsun taking 3rd. 1:59.85. So negative splits for those top 2 or 3 women. They were well outside 60 seconds at 400 metres. And that is a very, very special run indeed by Alicia Johnson. It's not a personal best for the American. She's already won 1:58 this year to set a new personal best for the American champion who took the bronze medal at the World Indoor Championships back in March in Doha. 1 place behind Jenny Meadows. Has just recorded one of the biggest wins of her career on the commercial circuit. I have to say, she's a relatively new name, even though she's 24. But she's a big, powerful girl. There she is on the inside. Bert Thomas really took it to them, Stuart, but didn't have the legs. She's better known as a 1,500 metre runner anyway.
Yes, she is. She really knew that, and she had to go and try and run the legs, as you say, off them. Krevson now being overtaken by Johnson. Johnson ran a very good race. She was in very good position, and certainly Chepkoskai suffered badly when she almost fell early on in the race and never really got back into it. But Johnson, world indoor bronze medalist, incidentally, running from the front, and learned a lot from that championship. But look at this, it's a very dominant run, isn't it? And Hatchkap, you're quite right, came through very strongly for the Moroccan to take second place, with Krevson in third. At the time, 1:59.84 is confirmed. Well, Carmelita Jetta there. I'll just bring you up to date now with the result of that women's 100 metres. There it is, 10:95, just outside the meeting record, which was set by Kellyanne Baptiste in the heat. 11 seconds she got, then Sharon Simpson, a season's best of 11.02. Well, just looking again at that, Debbie Ferguson-McKenzie behind Solomon, Shelley-Ann Brooks, Carrie Russell and Michaela Barber. And there's the point situation. Carmelita Jetta now on 13 points, that extra 4 being added on. Veronica Campbell-Brown not here, of course, 4. Ashanti Moore, 4. Shelley-Ann Fraser, well, look at that, 4 of them with 4 points.
Well, the men's steeplechase was won in just under 8:20 by Linus Chumba, 8:19.72 for Chumba the Kenyan, a new meeting record. Kipiego in second place, his compatriot. Ben Bruce, a good run for third place with a new personal best. And this was indeed a Diamond League event, the men's steeplechase. Skelly Koech still leads with 7 points from Krimin Kapruto's 5. Chumba and Kemboy in third place on 4 points. Quite soft points in this one here today at Gateshead.
Well, there's the result of the pole vault for women. Fiafanova took one attempt at 481, failed it, but she'd already won the event at 471. It equals her season's best. Fabiana Mura, 461 in second, with Silke Spiegelberg third with 461. Spiegelberg losing the second place on the basis of countback. And there's the overall Diamond League point standing. Fabiana Mura, Spiegelberg, Fiafanova in that order, with Rogowska here either with 4 points as well in fourth place. But Mura leading quite comfortably at the moment.
Well, Felicidou then opened with a rather modest effort by his standards. It has to be said, 16 metres 91 for the Big Britons. 193 tall, that is 6'4", well muscled too, Philip. Great technician. That one looks a little better, indeed, beyond 17 metres for Dowu. Still not hitting it right. It's an event that really is dependent upon rhythm. This, remember, he was beaten at the European Team Championships by a Russian of all people, not by Teddy Tamgo. But that one for Felicidou, a distinct improvement. 17 metres 18 for the Briton to take the lead at the end of the second round. He's 8th and last in the jumping order. His coach Aston Moore there, having a chat with him. Aston Moore, of course, himself a one-time Commonwealth medalist. A great triple jumper back in the 80s.
High jump bar now, 229.
Randy Lewis.
No one yet clear.
Well, Lewis opened with a relatively modest 16.83.
There is Randy Lewis.
Then went down to 17.11 in the second round. Lewis, Grenada, just sitting back on that one a little bit. Lost a fair bit of sand with that. Fair bit of distance. Jumping well though. For a man who's only jumped 17.08 this year, putting together a pretty solid series, it has to be said. His opener 16.83. And he is good on the board too. Clearly the wind is not really affecting these guys. There's not much about. They're sheltered by that main stand. And it means that they're not being blown towards the board or back from the board. 17.11 in round 2, and that one 17.29 to take the lead in round 3 for the Grenadan.
United States, she'll be starting in lane 4. Carmelita Jetta.
Well, Capello. Alexis Capello of Cuba, the Diamond League competition leader, the 24-year-old Capello.
So
opening with 16.67, then 16.29. That one in round 3 coming down at 17:09. And Capello moving into third place on the basis of that jump. He is the world bronze medalist from last year, the World Championship bronze medalist. You would expect, as this mid-season period comes upon us, the technical events getting sharper and sharper in their execution. That's exactly what's happening with this triple jump. Most of these men hitting that board very well indeed. 17:09 and third place for the Cuban with 1 round to go. In fact, 3 rounds to go, excuse me, in this triple jump, of course. There are 6 rounds. Now, Idowu. Remember Idowu, 17:18 in the second round. And that from Idowu, a big effort in response to Randy Lewis's 17:29. That was what held the lead prior to that jump, but that surely further from Idowu. He is a wonderful competitor. He had some dodgy years back in the mid-80s. He fouled out of the 2004 Olympic final after having an initial no jump in the region of 1770. But being advised by Aston Moore, formerly John Herbert, he really has got a great competitive temperament. He's a wonderful technician, and he's making the most of it here today in Gateshead. Idowu there in round 3, 17:38 to regain the lead. Second place Lewis now with 17:29.
Well, the next event on the track, the women's 400-metre hurdles. This Diamond League event. And it's a good lineup too. There it is, Nicolesia Wilson of Jamaica, drawn in lane 1. Dominic Darden of the United States in 2. Perry Shakes Drayton, Great Britain in 3. Kelly's Spencer of Jamaica in 4. Susanna Hejnova of the Czech Republic in 5. And Modosanu of Romania in 6, and then Ailey Child of Great Britain in 7, and Sheena Tosta of the United States in lane 8. It's a good lineup this. Probably Spencer of Jamaica in lane 4 might well be the one to watch. There is Spencer, 4th at the World Championships in 2009 in Berlin, 53.48 this season. Just looking at Ailey Child, or Petrivi Club, a Scottish club. European under-23 silver medalist last year, incidentally. Behind this woman, Perry Shakes Drayton of Great Britain now, the under-23 champion, twice UK champion now, 54.91 her best set this season. Lots of potential here, very tall. So Wilson, Darden, Shakes Drayton, Spencer, Hejnova, Modosanu, Child and Tosta. The women's 400-metre hurdles. Very important to get the stride pattern into this first hurdle right. Not a lot in it actually as they go into the first hurdle. Probably Spencer slightly ahead now as she's moving very strongly. Wilson of Jamaica going very well right on the outside. Tosta of the United States going very strongly. But coming towards 200 metres now. And Spencer of Jamaica running very solidly indeed. Just outside her is Hejnova of the Czech Republic. Second from the outside, Ailey Child. Looking quite good too, and actually it's not Ailey Child, she's faded a little bit off the Barnell Bend here. In lane 4 then, it's Spencer. She is the favourite on performance in the past, and let's see what she does of this last hurdle. Does it very nicely indeed. Hejnova is under pressure from Modosanu. Hejnova gets there, Modosanu in 3rd place. Spencer wins it quite comfortably in the end, 54.12. And we'll bring you up to date with the times of the rest. In fact, it was a good competitive race in the end, but Kelly's Spencer of Jamaica, certainly the favourite. She's a 50.55 400-metre flat athlete with a 2-second differential for women's 400-metre hurdles. So she ran pretty well here as they came into the straight.
She did, Stuart, yeah, she didn't panic. That Modosanu, their 3rd to left, had gone out pretty hard in lane 6, the Romanian, and indeed she was down a bit with about 100 to go, but she pushed on strongly through the last 50 to 60, very strong off the final barrier too, and won pretty comfortably in that 54.10 now has been confirmed from Hejnova and Modosanu. Very tight for 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah, I was hoping that Jake Drayton, the Briton, might well do a little better. The high jump at 2 meters and 26 now. And that's Osu Toru of Finland, the Finnish record holder, the indoor record holder, and jumped 2 meters and 32 this season. That's indoors. Good jump, very good jump indeed.
Well, this is Linus Tornblatt at 2:26. Tornblatt, of course, probably the favourite here, last in the jumping order. He's the Diamond League leader and goes clear at 2:26. First time Tornblatt. He'd had a real hiccup at 2:23. Only cleared the previous height at the third attempt. But the Swede, world indoor bronze medalist 4 years ago, who does have a personal best at 2:34, although that too was from 2006, making light work of 2:26 there.
So Jesse Williams, good clearance from him at 2:26. So competition very nicely poised here. In fact, there are 5 men clear at 2:26. Jesse Williams has got a best this season of 2:30. He was 6th in Lausanne. Incidentally, Lausanne was won by Ukov at 2:33. It was a very good high jump competition a couple of days ago, with Thornblad in 5th place. Well, there's the result of the 400 metre hurdles. 54.10 for Khalid Spencer of Jamaica. Hejnova just getting it from Modosanu at 54.83 to 54.87. That was the season's best for Modosanu. Well, there's the overall situation. Demas not to here, of course, 12 points the leader, very close to the world record recently. Spencer, Anchuk, Spencer in second, Anchuk in third on the points.
Well, that women's 800 metre final won by Alicia Johnson, 1:59.84, fittingly the only athlete under 2 minutes. Haklaf of Morocco just outside in second place, and Klevson in third. Meadows in sixth, coming back from injury. She'll be disappointed, of course, with that run compared with her early season form, but she'll get there, I think, before Barcelona in 17 days. And there's the Diamond race standings at this stage of the season. This is the 8th Diamond League meeting. Chepkoskai with 7 points, Haklaf with 6, Johnson with 4, along with Savinova and Meadows with 3 points. Remember, only points allocated to the top 3 athletes in each event. 4-2-1, first, second, third.
Toro now attempting 2 meters and 29 in the high jump. Oh, he just clipped it, didn't he? Just clipped it. He cleared 2:26 as we saw on his first attempt. That was very, very close. So Williams, we've seen him before. Oh, that was so close too. He just clipped it with his heels again. That was so very close. Williams is so close to his season's best, which is 2:30. 5th in the World Indoor Championships, incidentally. So 2:29 proving to be a difficult height for all of these jumpers. Thornblad then. Second attempt at 2:29, he gets it, and that puts the pressure on everyone. He was 5th in Lausanne up against a really tough field, but he's come here and looked very, very good indeed. Good inside knee, drives it high, gets good arch and throw away at the end. Nice one. So that could be enough. The rest of is very, very close, but failing at 2:29. Well, the next race on the track is the women's 100-metre hurdles. The hurdles are out already. A very competitive race, the hurdles for women of late. We're pretty well getting the Olympic and World Championship final every week now, which is quite something.
And it's a very entertaining race, this one, Stuart. Yes, the barriers stay out on the track, but down the home straight at least, with the last race having been the 400-metre hurdle. Very high caliber field, I have to be said. The likes of Lolo Jones, the twice world indoor champion, going in this one. She starts in lane 5. The Olympic bronze medalist, Cilla Loeb-Schleep of Canada, in lane 4 beside her. Perdita Felicien, the world champion back in 2003 for Canada, took the silver medal 4 years later in Osaka. There is the lineup for this women's 100-metre hurdles, the next event on the track. Ophelia in 1, Carruthers in 2, Ennis in 3, Delarine Ennis that is, Loeb-Schleep of Canada in 4, then Lolo Jones, the world indoor champion, in 5, Felicien, another Canadian, in 6, Hazel in 7, Jenny Crawford in lane 8. Well, Jenny Crawford, who goes in lane 8, was originally going to be over in lane 5, but she stood up out of the blocks and didn't race in Lausanne on 2 nights ago, clearly carrying an injury, and she's been moved to lane 8 in case the same happens again. The other athletes didn't want a non-racer right in amongst them, with the thick of the racing being in the middle of the field. There is a slight delay. We are running a little bit late. Indeed, this race was due off some almost 10 minutes ago, and they're still putting the barriers out on the track. So quite considerable delays here in Gateshead today, which is inevitable with so many lane races. You do get a few false starts, but these athletes, all experienced, the likes of Lolo Jones and Loeb-Schleep, they have to contend with this at Olympic and World Championship level. Very, very nervous. All athletes get nervous. Don't believe anyone who looks cool and calm and collected. They are very, very nervous inside, and if they're not, then they won't rest straight to their optimum. It's all about channeling that nervous energy, and that's what is tiring. That's why athletes get tired towards the end of the season, mentally as much as physically, is because of the meeting that challenge of the nerves and controlling it and working it in a positive way for yourself to produce a good performance. Stuart, you know a lot about this, being a former high hurdler yourself, certainly in this discipline, which is so technically demanding, and when it goes wrong can be so dramatically wrong. It really is a big challenge.
Yes, it is, but I have to say that I've been one that's been wanting the hurdles raised by 3 inches for the women for some years now. Under 17 men hurdle 3 inches higher than this, a 3-foot hurdle, and I think that's important to test real hurdling ability over the hurdles. So many basic sprinters find themselves able to compete in the hurdles, and they ought to be a little bit more than that. But that's just an opinion. I would like to see it, and it may happen in the future, but not just yet.
Well, they're stripped off now for this 100-metre hurdles, and just about ready. And crowd clapping there in support of the jump going on in the meantime. We're focusing on that track event, which is due off in just a couple of minutes' time.
That's Kenta Bell, the United States, the triple jump. Just hitting the ball. That's the final round, and looking for something big, and he doesn't look as though he's got it, does he? It looked to me as though he's over the board. Let's have a look at this. And see the red flag from where I'm sitting, actually. Oh no, that was perfectly good. And I think that's going to come up at 16 meters and 17 centimeters. Disappointing, really.
Well, we can go back to the track where the big names are ready and waiting. Loeb-Schleep there in lane 4, Lolo Jones in lane 5. Those are the favourites for this one. Loeb-Schleep, the Canadian, very powerfully built, was the winner in Lausanne 2 nights ago in 12:56, a season's best. Lolo Jones didn't race there, but she was the US champion just 3 weeks ago. So the lineup from the far side: Ophelia in 1, Carruthers in 2, Ennis of Jamaica 3, Loeb-Schleep in 4 for Canada, Jones in 5, Lolo Jones, the world indoor champion, Felicien in 6, Hazel 7, Crawford nearest the camera in lane 8. Great start there from Loeb-Schleep in 4. Jones, though, getting away very quickly as well, and Jones leading at the moment. What a run this is from Lola Jones. Jones clearly away, near on their side. Felicien is going with her, but Lola Jones a couple of metres clear, and that's a fabulous run from Lola Jones into a headwind of 1.7. 12.80, top-notch sprint hurdling. Goodness me, if we could reverse that wind, we'd have seen something down in the 12.5s. It would have been very, very fast indeed. I think second place was Carruthers there over on the far side. She came through very strongly from lane 2. But Lola Jones continues on her merry way. She's been showing great form and consistency this year, when she had a little bit of a reputation for bailing out in big races where there was a lot of pressure. But she seems to have pretty much beaten that demon now, Stuart, and that was a very, very crisp race from start to finish.
Lopez Schleep came off that hurdle very, very poorly indeed, and Lola Jones was away, and Schleep had no chance of catching up. Watch lane 2. I think Danielle Carruthers came through very strongly to snatch second place over Adelarine Ellis as they got to the line. It's very, very close. Let's have a look. Yes, she did get second, and I think it was Felicien of Canada that got third. We'll check on that in a moment. But looking from the other side, it was in fact Felicien in third place, but it's nice to look from the other side actually. It's the trail leg coming off the hurdle is absolutely vital. It gets you down onto the track. Lola looking very smooth, her shoulders staying on the same line. Look, there's nothing deviating at all. Her hips are moving and her shoulders stay the same. That's beautiful high hurdling. Have a look at this. Comes up much quicker. Sprinters stay down, their heads stay down much longer. Lola comes up, she's got to negotiate the first hurdle. She comes into the hurdle, a fast lead leg, fast trail leg. It's the trail leg that brings the lead leg down too. Good, solid piece of hurdling, slightly to the right of the hurdle, but not interfering with anyone else. And that's a very good win indeed, 12.79, technically pretty sound.
Well, Lola Jones winning very comfortably there, 12.79 from Carruthers. That's a good result for the American. Badissa Felicien in third place. A very blow-par performance from Lopez Schleep in fourth place. Outside 13 seconds when you think she won in Lausanne a couple of nights ago in 12.56.
Well, Dimitri Valjukovic of the Slovak Republic, the final round of the triple jump. Just looking at his performances thus far, 16.81 in the first round. Hasn't gone better than that thus far. And that's all over the place. It's below 17. I think that's a no jump. It was indeed. He was rotating forwards. He got it totally wrong. Look at that. There it is. There's the evidence. So he wouldn't affect. He stays in fifth place.
To go, Levan Sands.
Well, here is Sands, and this man, Levan Sands, 16.83 in round 3, his best until this final round effort. To move into the top 3, he needs 17.09, and this one just wasn't good enough. Couldn't broach the 17-metre barrier today, Levan Sands from the Bahamas, and had to settle with his best effort remaining, the third round effort of 16.83. That one coming down at 16 metres 74. And you think he's the Olympic bronze medalist in 2008. Well, that's a disappointing evening's work from the 28-year-old. Recently won the Bahamian title, but tonight that's his series. He's applauding the crowd, but of course inside he'll be upset with that performance.
The men's 200 metres then, and what a lineup we've got here. Right on the inside is Britain's Craig Pickering. Seldom runs the 200 metres, but here he is today. Not particularly good over 1, but trying on the 2. Marlon Devonish in 2. Angelo Taylor 3. Walter Dix 4. Gerandi Martina 5. Wallace Spearman 6. Nduri 7. Smith 8. There is Walter Dix, the double Olympic sprint bronze medalist. Was third in that 100 and 200 in the Olympic Games. 19.72. his best performance. But remember, there's Wallace Spearman in lane 6, a couple of lanes outside him. World silver medalist at 200 in 2005. And second in Rome, incidentally, just bringing you up to date with Diamond League stuff. But Spearman will be good. He'll feature Angelo Taylor, the big man, twice Olympic gold medalist at 400-metre hurdles in lane 3. He's pretty tough across the range of events, really, from hurdles to 200 metres and 400 flat. But Walter Dix has been running very strongly indeed. Outside Dix, Martina has gone off very, very strongly indeed. And right second from the outside, and Dury going very strongly as they come into the straight now. And Dury running very, very well indeed. And Dix really having to motor down the middle. And Dury being overtaken. Spearman coming through. Dix coming through, and Spearman on the near side. And that's Dix just gets it. Only just 20.26. And that's very, very close for second. Spearman was through there, and Dury faded a little bit at the moment. Spearman looked to come into second place there in that race, but oh, Walter Dix, that was a tougher one. It just goes to show, I'm just looking at the wind, minus 0.9 metres per second, but what a bend Dury had. Terrific stuff that faded a little bit in the straight. Let's have another look at this, Tim.
Well, we know, Stuart, that 200 metres is not a flat-out sprint. You really do have to gauge your effort over the full distance, and he went out very hard, did Dury, second to left there. As you can see, he leads off the bend by a metre or two, actually, and Dix and the others inside, and the big names, Martina in 5 and Spearman in 6, left with some work to do, but it's Dury that does get hunted down. Dix maintains the work rate very hard down the home straight. Keeps pumping hard. He's not a particularly pretty sprinter, very hunched in the shoulders. He does get it though, marginally there from the men behind him, and I think we're still waiting for second and third to be sorted out. It's very tight, as you can see from that shot. For my money, Spearman got it by the tiniest of margins from Dury for second and third. But the 200 metres is very much a sprint event where you have to gauge your effort through each of these sections of the race. Anyone, one could say, can sprint the bend flat out and lead into the straight, but it's an awfully long straight if you overreach yourself.
Alex Capello of Cuba then in the triple jump, back to that.
Started for the women's hurdles, now shown on the scoreboard.
Capello, red flag. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, it was. It just broke the plane of the upright into the plasticine, and that upright oh, he didn't actually. He didn't. No, hang on a minute. I thought I saw the red flag go up, but that wasn't. Very high on the first part of the jump. Struggled a little bit in the mid-phase. Did Capello. He's got a best of 17 metres and 9. Now, Ito. Phillips Ado. Well, that looked to be way over the board, and that is definitely a no jump. Definitely a no jump on that one, and we'll bring you up to date with the result of that. A little bit confusing in the final stages there. We apologise for that, but here we go. Let's have a look at the result as soon as we can get it. There it is. Joe wins it with 17.38. That was his third round jump, incidentally. Randy Lewis, the season's best, 17.29. That was his third round. And in fact, Capello's best jump also in the third round at 17.09. So everything that mattered came in the third round.
Well, you can see in the background there on the far side of the track the 5,000 metre runners walking down the back straight towards the start of their race. They were due underway 3 or 4 minutes ago, so schedules have obviously been shifted back a bit. It's all down to 1 or 2 races before the international programme with full starts, slowing things up a little bit. We can go back to the high jump though now, this men's high jump, which was won so impressively by Thornblatt with 2.29. That's a Toro of Finland, who had a third time failure at 2.29. His best jump of the day, at first time clearance at 2.26. Jesse Williams, well, he too had cleared 2.26 first time, and 2.29 for him in 3 attempts. This his third and final attempt. It was close, but that's not good enough in the high jump. It's black and white as an event, and although he's cleared 2.30 this year, 2.29 today, beyond the American. The American champion finishing in second place with that one. Third place, excuse me, Jesse Williams. Well, Thornblatt of Sweden had cleared 2.26 at the first attempt. 2:29 at this second attempt, and a 2:32 once he'd got the competition under his belt was beyond him as well. He had 3 attempts at 2:32, did Thornblatt, but the Swede perhaps lacking the competitive incentive, knowing that he'd already racked up the points. Well, the final event on the track is the men's 5,000 metres. It's a big field, no less than 19 starters, and there is the first page of that field. Chris Thompson, what a season the Briton has had. A fabulous 27.29 for 10,000 metres at Stanford in May. Former European under-23 champion, back in great shape. Look out too, though, for Eliud Kipchoge, the former world champion for Kenya, and one of a strong Kenyan field entry in this one. Mo Farah, though, his first big hit at 5,000 metres, this one, for the European indoor champion from last year of 3,000 metres. This is a very, very significant run for Mo Farah. He too in wonderful form over 10,000 metres this season, some 3 weeks ago, running 27.28 to win the European Cup and make him the 3rd fastest man in history. And Britain can, as a result, boast the 2 fastest 10,000 metre runners in Europe. But here they meet a very, very strong lineup of 5,000 metre runners, including Imane Merga of Ethiopia, who leads the Diamond League Challenge. He was 4th at the World Championships last year, actually over 10,000 metres. He won in Oslo, beating Lagat and Bekele. Has a vicious kick, but there is Mo Farah to the right of picture. This must be a big, big day in Mo Farah's season, perhaps the most significant test yet, because he meets men who have been on the circuit racing regularly and are in good form. Well, away they go. That's a staggered start. They will break from lanes when they get into the straight. But Eliud Kipchoge is the fastest man in the world this year with 12 minutes 51 seconds. That came when winning at Doha back in May, quite a few weeks ago now. The opening Diamond League meeting of the season. The pacemaker, incidentally, well, there's a couple of them. The first one is Bethwell Bergen, who's due to go out at about 61.5 seconds per lap pace. And then Mike Keegan is the second pacemaker who will take over. The target is to get to 3,000 metres in 7:44. And to do that, they've got to be running around 61.5, 62 seconds per lap. You can tell it's quick because already, with what, a couple hundred metres done, they're strung out over about 30 metres. Kenenisa Bekele, actually, the Olympic champion and world record holder, is out for the season. That has been confirmed. He's got a calf injury which has been he's been really struggling to get sorted out, and Jos Hermans just last week, his manager in Holland, confirming that the world record holder is out for the whole 2010 season. But that of course opens the door for other names to shine. Gathimba, well, he was originally in the 1500 metres today. Gideon Gathimba, the 30-year-old Kenyan, has been dropped into this field to be the first pacemaker. Then it will be Bergen and then Keegan.
Well, it might be as well at this point to mention Imane Merga of Ethiopia. He's in the all-black strip. He's about halfway down the field. Again, Tim, I mean, he is the man who's been tactically very, very sound in these races over the season thus far. He's been there or thereabouts. He's quietly crept up to the lead, and he's had such a good pace down the home straight that he's prevailed on several occasions. Very, very impressive. He was 3rd in Eugene over 5,000. He won the Rome race, and that's where it was so tactically sound. He's been in the first 3 on all of the races thus far over 5,000 metres, and we'll see how he goes here. But certainly with Eliud Kipchoge in the field, as Tim has already said, he holds the fastest in the world this year at 12:51. We were surprised that it came so early in Doha, but it was a very, very fine race there. And really, when you got to Oslo, we had so many men inside 13 minutes. We had 10 men inside 13 minutes in Oslo. It was an astounding race, wasn't it?
It was astonishing, yes. It's been a great season for strength in depth. There's Farah and Thompson, the top 2 Brits, just moving along well. The leaders went through 800 metres in 2:2. We should be able to get the first 1,000 metre split. 2:33 for 1,000 metres. Good pacemaking.
Well, Thornblad attempting 2:32. And that was very, very close. I'm not going to translate that for you, but he was very, very close indeed. He's got the competition won, that's for sure, by virtue of the fact that he got that second time clearance at 2:29. There it is. He's had 2 failures at 2:32. He's got one more chance to go, and that was close. It is possible, that's for sure. Another look at this. Gets very, very good elevation, doesn't he?
Well, they come down the straight now with just over 3 laps done. They see 9 laps to go. It looks like an awfully long way if you're stretched at this stage, and certainly several athletes towards the back of that field are moving quicker than they'd like to be. Galen Rupp is also in there for the USA. He's their 10,000 metre champion for the last 2 seasons. He's actually run 13:14 indoors as Rupp. He wears the green vest. That's a lot quicker than he's ever run outdoors. Well, Gatimba now moves aside with almost 4 laps done. He's done a very good job. Pacemaker's just beginning to stretch out a little bit, and I'd like to see the rest of the field go with this pace. Conditions are good here in Gateshead. There's a very slight breeze across the arena. They go for 4 laps there in about 4:08, and that's Bergen who has taken over pacemaking duties. The rest of them, well, they're not far down, it has to be said, maybe a couple of seconds. So they'll have gone through 4 laps in about 4:10, and that includes Mo Farah of Great Britain, who's at the back of that main pack, 4th from the back. Chris Thompson 2nd from the back in the green. Let's hope these 2 Brits really can give a good account of themselves here today, because they're up against athletes like Matthew Kisorio, who's run 12:57 this year. He was 3rd in the Kenyan 10,000 metre championships. There was a ridiculous 10,000 in Kenya last week at their championships, where at altitude, with that disadvantage of competing in very rarefied air, a whole load of Kenyans went way under 28 minutes. Kisorio was 3rd in 27:28. And at 5,000 metres, he frankly should find this sort of pace a bit of a breeze. There you can see Murger, middle of the picture, black and red shorts, black hair, and a black vest. He's quite solidly built, is Murger, much more solidly built and hunched-shouldered than most of the Kenyan athletes. That's what really makes him stand out. Kipchoge is there as well. He's in 4th place at the moment, the world #1 this year, who lifted the world 5,000 metres title in Paris back in 2003 when he was just 19 years old. He's an enormous talent is Kipchoge.
So 5:11.87 at 2,000 metres then, just for the statisticians amongst you. 1 or 2 now coming back into contention here. Farah towards the back of that group, certainly. Murger, as Tim has already said, is in the position, tucked in right on the inside, always in a good position. His tactical brain on him is very, very good indeed. And Kipchoge, as you said, already up there as well, the fastest man in the world this year.
Well, Bergen, just glancing over his shoulder, will move aside now and let Keegan take over with 6 laps done. They come up towards the 6 laps point and look at the clock. They have slowed significantly, about 6:17 there for the athletes leading the pack. That means they're lapping at about 63s. They're dropping down towards 13:15 tempo. That's a shame, because it was set up very well, and even 5:11 at 2,000 is not too bad. It's virtually 62s, but they come into the straight now, and you can tell it's slowed because so many athletes are in touch with this field. Kisorio is in 2nd place, Chepcock in 3rd, Kipchoge in 4th, Murger on the inside. Galen Rupp's going well. He's the first non-African in about 8th place at the moment. Mo Farah's just behind him, and Chris Thompson towards the back of the field. I would hope just biding his time there. New territory this for Chris Thompson. He's in with a chance of recording a huge new personal best today.
Well, just look at Linus Thornblad, his final attempt, as you can see, at 2 metres and 32. He's won the competition at 2:29. Now then, he was so close on the last attempt. Toro and Williams in 2nd and 3rd. That's how it's finished. That's the official result. Now, can he just take it a little bit further? No, that wasn't as good as his second attempt. But he's won the competition. His personal best is 2:34, but that was back in 2006. He looked as though he was coming back to that sort of form with the season's best of 2:30. But 2:29, good enough to win on this day.
Well, they really have bunched as they come down towards us now with 5 laps to go. They're passing through 3,000 metres now. It's still quickish, but 7:51 for the pacemaker. The pack going through in about 7:52. That kilometre, 2:39, and they have slowed each of these first 3 kilometres. The first one 2:33, the second one about 2:37, and that one 2:39. That's a shame. They have slowed significantly. Keegan just hanging in there to try and take them round after 3,000, Stuart. But actually, apart from the fact that, you know, one could get too caught up in the desire for these Africans to run very, very fast and break 13 minutes and do something special. For a lot of men in that pack, the Mo Farahs and Chris Thompsons of this field, this pace is just about ideal. 7:52, 7:53 at 3,000, spot on.
Tariku Bekele of Ethiopia is also there. He's in 5th place at the moment, alongside Murga. Those two side by side. They've had several battles on the track this year already. And there's Murga tucked in on the inside. Kipsero is there. Chepcock now has taken over the lead. Mo Farah runs out wide, then goes back in. And, well, he's in good position at the moment, but mustn't let them get too far away. If somebody breaks, he mustn't get caught.
Well, that lap 64 seconds, that's outside 13:20 pace, and yet Chris Thompson still having trouble staying with this group. He should have closed up a fair deal there. Rupp in the green there in the middle of that pack, the only non-African in shot by birth. Mo Farah second to right in that picture, looking strong, hanging in there. Mo Farah, they're still gathering, aren't they? They're bunching, and that really does indicate that there's not a hard pace being laid down at the front there. Although I'm a little surprised that they're all looking like they've got about 200 to go, not 3.5 laps. They're looking really anxious for it, and I wish somebody would take this on and kick on hard. Bekele, the younger brother of the world record holder, that's Tariku Bekele in the orange vest in about 3rd place, has looked very comfortable throughout. He's a big kicker, former world junior champion. He was second in Eugene last week in under 13 minutes, and he's had a good consistent season with 2nd places in Oslo and a 4th place in Rome. So don't write off Bekele there. Casorio as well, the slightly taller of the 2 men in orange, as I said, is also in wonderful form. He was 6th in Eugene. Mo Farah moving wide down the outside with 3 laps to go. Farah very keen to get involved in this one. Another 64-second lap. It's remaining slow by the standards of the majority of these men. So with 3 laps to run, there's what, about 10 or 12 men there bunched together. You could almost throw a blanket over them, to use a cliche. Kogo at the front hasn't really done anything here to liven it up. Now, I don't think there's any teamwork here from the Kenyans. They're all running for themselves. But Kogo is an Olympic bronze medalist at 10,000 metres from Beijing. You'd expect to be pushing on. But it's, look, Mo Farah coming to the front now, who's having to take the lead and say, right, let's make some racing here. 2:40 that kilometre, another slower kilometre. And Mo Farah at the front. He might as well be there if it's going to be this slow, and a kick's going to come in sometime in the next 600 metres or so. Why be behind 5 or 6 or 8 bodies?
Well, the evidence was 7:51 at 3,000 metres and 10:31.32 at 4,000 metres to give the statisticians a look at this race, and it's going to be down to the sprinters. Bekele moves wide, Farah's there, Kogo's there, Chepcock's there, everybody's there. Casorio, we've mentioned him several times, he's there. Now, who will prevail here with a couple of laps to go in this 5,000 metres?
Well, Chepcock it is who leads. There's a real sense of anticipation in the stadium, the crowd roaring them on round each lap. Into the final 800 metres now. Mo Farah was at the front, remember, 300 metres ago. Look at him now, he's back in about 7th place, Farah. Whether he thought better of it or was going through a bad patch, I don't know, but Chepcock certainly winding it up. Bekele in 2nd place, Murga on the inside there in 3rd. Kipchoge has remained relatively anonymous. He's on the inside in 4th or 5th there in the purple vest. Watch him, he's got a vicious kick, has Kipchoge, and remember, the fastest man in the world this year with 12:51 is operating way outside that sort of tempo here today, so he's got a big kick in his legs if he wants it. But Chepcock it is coming into the straight with Bekele on his shoulder, who looks ominously good. Farah struggling at the moment. He's just beginning to isolate or separated from this group of 6 out in front of him. It's Chepcock, Bekele, Kipchoge now moving wide off the curb for virtually the first time. Murga on the inside there, and at the bell, the time 12:04.5, 61 that penultimate lap. Mo Farah working hard to go with this. Chris Thompson, incidentally, back in about 10th place, really struggling to go with this pace. But Chepcock down the back straight now. It's anybody's race still. 6 men there in this leading pack. Bekele glancing down the far end, looks very relaxed. He's looking at the big screen, see what's going on behind him. That's Kipchoge on the outside in the purple. He's got a lovely, powerful, punchy, rhythmic stride as Kipchoge. It's between these 3. Look at this, side by side with 200 to run. Murga on the inside. It's still anybody's race here. They haven't really clicked into full sprint mode just yet. Merger might come late. He's just watching these three, isn't he? He's tucked in behind them, almost slipstreaming them. He might need to find a little bit of daylight here. But now they begin to kick hard. And on the inside it's Chepkov. He swings right as Merger to the left of picture there. Comes wide, but has he got the legs? It's Kipchoge. Chepkov on the inside. And Chepkov's going to keep them at bay. And he does take it. Kipchoge's second. Merger third. Just outside 13 minutes the winning time. Beckley, I think, shunted back to fourth place. Mo Farah comes through there in a pretty solid time. I think about 13.7 there for Mo Farah will confirm that. Chris Thompson is through already as well. That's a massive new personal best with Chris Thompson. Wonderful running from Tomo. He's a man who has only run 13.24, and that was way back in 2004.
Well, let's take breath. There's the result of the high jump. Thornblad's 2:29, good enough to win. Taro and Williams in second and third. There are the rest of Only of Great Britain, 2:23. Just bringing you up to date with some of the results that we've missed thus far. There's the Diamond League situation for the high jump, 9.5442211, with Thornblad at the top. We haven't brought you up to date with the men's 200 metres result yet. Let's just check on that at the moment. Walter Dix got it, 20.26. Wallace Spearman did get second place, 20.29. And Jesuma Nduri, 20.31. Season's best in third place. Well, there's the diamond race standing. 16 points to Walter Dix. Is dominant, isn't he? Usain Bolt has only had one race. He won that. Spearman in third, then Bailey and Gay. Well, we've had some marvellous performances on this evening. Peter Malachowski of Poland started well with the discus, 69.83, a UK all-comers record. Kiprop won the 1500 metres for men, 3:33.34. The women's 100 metres, Carmelita Jetta. There are all the results thus far. Lola Jones in the hurdles, 12:79. Walter Dix, 20:26. But remember that men's 100. Tyson Gay beating Asafa Pal, 9:94 to 9:96. Well, there you've got it. The diamond race total overall. Kiprop with 14, Dix 16, one of the top scorers overall. In fact, he is the top scorer thus far in the 200 metres. And of course, this meeting from Gateshead goes forward to France on the next meeting. And let's just check on that. Let's have a look at the details of Paris, the next meeting of the Diamond League. There it is, Paris, July the 16th. Don't miss it. From Tim Hutchings and myself, Stuart Story. Hope you've enjoyed it tonight. It was a good one, some good competition. Bye-bye for now.